Most AHPRA issues don't start with your website. They start with a patient who's unhappy. Maybe an extraction got complicated. An implant didn't integrate. A crown doesn't look right. Usually it gets sorted at the practice. You have a conversation, you offer to redo the work, things move on. That's how it goes 99% of the time. But every now and then, it doesn't get resolved. The patient's still unhappy, they talk to friends, they Google Dental Complaint Australia, and eventually, maybe weeks later, maybe months, they end up sitting in front of a lawyer. Now, here's what happens next. The lawyer doesn't just look at the clinical notes. They pull up your website, your social media, your Google business profile, everything public-facing. They screenshot all of it. And that's where it gets ugly. Because most dental websites in Australia have 3, 4, 5 advertising violations sitting right there in the open. Things that were never a problem until a lawyer went looking. And now every single one of those becomes ammunition. It stops being about the crown. Now it's about a pattern of misleading conduct. The lawyer has a much bigger story to tell. Here's the thing most dentists don't realize. AHPRA's advertising guidelines don't just apply to pamphlets and magazine ads. They apply to everything public-facing. Your website, your Instagram, your Google business profile, your Facebook page, even your TikToks, if you're making those. If it's accessible to the public and it promotes your clinical services, it's advertising under the national law. Full stop. And most dentists have never actually read the advertising guidelines. Your web designer definitely hasn't. Your marketing agency hasn't. So what ends up on your website is whatever looks good and converts patients, with zero thought given to whether it's actually legal. Let's go through the violations. There are 7 big ones, and I'd bet money at least 2 of these are on your site right now. Number 1. Patient testimonials on your website. This is the big one. Section 133 of the national law says you cannot use testimonials in advertising for a regulated health service. Your website is advertising. So any patient testimonial on your website is a breach, doesn't matter how genuine it is. And this catches more people than you'd think. It's not just a dedicated testimonials page. It's Google reviews you've embedded on your homepage. It's a screenshot of a Facebook review in your gallery. It's a video of a patient saying how great their experience was. All of it. Now, patients leaving reviews on Google, that's fine. Google is a third-party platform. You don't control it. But the moment you pull those reviews onto your own website, you curate them, you embed them, you display them on a platform you control, that's a testimonial in advertising. And lawyers absolutely love finding this. Because it's black and white. There's no arguing your way out of it. Section 133 is clear. Testimonial on your website? Breach. It's an easy win for them, and it establishes a pattern of non-compliance that makes everything else in the case look worse. Number 2. Before and after photos without proper disclaimers. You're allowed to use before and after photos. That's not the issue. The issue is how they're presented. AHPRA's guidelines say clinical images must not be misleading about typical results, and they need appropriate context. In practice, that means every before and after needs a disclaimer along the lines of, any surgical or invasive procedure carries risks. Before proceeding, you should seek a second opinion from an appropriately qualified health practitioner, but it goes beyond the disclaimer. If your smile gallery is 20 of your absolute best veneer cases and nothing else, that's presenting atypical results as if they're the norm. You're cherry picking. Number 3. Using the word specialist when you're not on the specialist register. Under the national law, specialist is a protected title. If you're a general dentist, you cannot call yourself a specialist. You cannot say implant specialist. You cannot say cosmetic dentistry specialist. Now here's the grey area. We specialize in cosmetic dentistry. Is that a protected title claim? Or is it just describing a clinical focus? Technically, you're not calling yourself a specialist. You're using the verb specialize. And reasonable people can disagree on where the line is. But you don't get to decide where the line is. A lawyer arguing against you gets to decide where they want to push it. The safe move is simple. Replace specialize with focus on or have extensive experience in. Costs you nothing. Removes the risk entirely. Number 4. Misleading claims. And these are everywhere. Painless dentistry. Can you guarantee zero pain for every patient in every procedure? No. So it's misleading. Guaranteed results. You can't guarantee outcomes in healthcare. Every patient is different. Best dentist in Brunswick. Based on what metric? Verified by whom? If you can't point to an objective, verifiable source for the claim, it's misleading. These feel harmless. They feel like normal marketing language, and in any other industry, they would be. But healthcare advertising has different rules. Superlatives and absolute claims are specifically called out in the guidelines. Replace painless with gentle. Replace guaranteed with predictable. Drop best altogether unless you've won a specific verifiable award. Number 5. Creating unreasonable expectations about outcomes. Get the perfect smile you've always wanted. Transform your appearance in just one visit. Look 10 years younger. These create expectations that may not be achievable for the person reading them. And it gets worse when practices use stock photos. I've seen dental websites where the results section uses stock photography of models. That's not a result. That's a fantasy. Think about it. The patient sees perfect smile on your website, gets treatment, isn't happy with the result, goes to a lawyer, and the lawyer pulls up the very marketing that created the unreasonable expectation. It's a loop. Use qualified language. Explore options to improve your smile. Ask about treatment possibilities. Less exciting, but honest. Number 6. Offering gifts or discounts that induce people to use a health service. Section 133 also covers inducements. You can't offer gifts, discounts, or other financial incentives to attract people to use a regulated health service unless it's clearly unrelated to the clinical service itself. Free whitening with every checkup. You're using a clinical freebie to incentivize booking a clinical appointment. That's an inducement. Refer a friend. Get $50 off your next treatment. Same thing. Financial incentive tied directly to a clinical service. This one is genuinely a grey area. AHPRA has issued guidance over the years and the boundaries aren't always clear. But the conservative position, and the one that keeps you safe, is don't tie free stuff or discounts directly to clinical services on your website. Number 7. Missing the required disclaimer. The easiest one to fix and the one I see missing most often. Any advertising for a regulated health service that involves a surgical or invasive procedure needs to include a disclaimer to the effect of, any surgical or invasive procedure carries risks. Before proceeding, you should seek a second opinion from an appropriately qualified health practitioner. Your website is advertising. Every page that discusses a clinical procedure should have this visible. Treatment pages, landing pages, your smile gallery. The simplest fix is putting it in your website footer so it appears on every page. 5 minutes of work, but almost nobody does it. So, what actually happens when these violations get reported? It depends on severity. At the mild end, AHPRA issues a caution and asks you to fix the advertising. At the serious end, they can place conditions on your registration. And that's the one that really matters. Because conditions on your registration are public. They show up on the AHPRA register that anyone, patients, employers, insurers, can search. That follows you. Beyond conditions, there are undertakings, fines, up to $5,000 per offence for individuals, more for a body corporate. But the real cost isn't the fine. The real cost is the public record, the legal fees, the stress, and the fact that a lawyer used your own website as evidence against you. Here's what I'd do. Today. Go look at your website and check these 7 things. 1. No patient testimonials or embedded reviews anywhere on the site. 2. Before and after, photos have disclaimers and treatment context. 3. No use of specialist unless you're actually on the specialist register. 4. No superlatives. No best, painless, guaranteed. 5. No language creating unreasonable expectations about outcomes. 6. No gifts or discounts tied directly to clinical services. 7. The required surgical disclaimer is visible on all relevant pages. If you've got testimonials embedded or before and afters without disclaimers, fix it this week. Don't wait. Those are the 2 that lawyers find first because they're the most visible. If you want a quick check, we built a free tool at aiadaptive.com.au/free audit that scans your website for these issues. Takes about 30 seconds. Links in the description.